Hi everyone, welcome back to the Salt and Sauce podcast, midweek special for you, just with around the fixtures we had on Wednesday night. But basically, as always, looking at Edinburgh's two big football clubs, Hearts and Hibs, from the viewpoints of two best friends on either side of the divide there. Rob, we had a nice comment on the video last week about the friendliness of the podcast, which I think that was one of the goals we set out at the start, wasn't it? To avoid the what happens to the West. But that said, I suppose it is quite friendly on camera. But I liked your reply of Derby days. We tend not to speak to each other for as long
Yeah,
as possible.
exactly. That's an unwritten rule we've always had.
Yeah,
Sometimes we've broken it, but we try
yeah,
our
yeah.
best to,
We've
to
actually, we've actually watched a couple together, and the first one ended in a draw, which was probably the best thing that could have happened
yeah.
to the friendship. So appreciate the comments and do keep them coming, everyone. It's always really nice to hear your thoughts on them. But we'll jump straight into the games. It'll be a bit of a quicker episode, just given that it's the second one of the week. So firstly, Rob, I don't know if you want to take it away. Hibs were away to Ibrox. I imagine the theme for both of us, there'll be an element of frustration
We were at
with
home.
the results. What's that?
We were at
Oh, home.
home.
Sorry. I'm thinking of the cup game. You were at home to Rangers. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
It's usually you correcting me as well.
I know. I know.
Um, oh, do I have to? Right. Okay. Obviously, the game got the big build up from the media, from the Hibs fans. I don't think Rangers were particularly looking forward to the fixture. Um, but my overall feeling is just of disappointment, really. Again, we seem to have saved another one of our kind of poorer performances for a big match again, which was against Rangers. We're quite happy with the lineup, as I said in the preview. I only expected kind of one change, and that was O'Hora coming out, he's been decent the last couple of games, but Rocky came in, so you thought that was fair enough. Think it was quite an attacking formation. Cleese and Bowie stayed up front, so I was reasonably optimistic that we would continue showing, I guess, the good form that we've shown in the last couple of games. And the match actually started like that as well. We started on the front foot. We weren't sitting off them. Nicky Cadden gets an early chance. Again, he works the keeper. I think he might be a bit disappointed. It's not a sitter, but I just think someone with that quality in his left foot, if he's fully firing, I think he does a bit better there.
Yeah. You're kind of hoping it falls to someone like that on their left foot because he can
Exactly.
do it.
But look, he hit the target and worked the keeper corner, the crowd up for it. From it, we I think it was Cleege might have had the header, just goes wide then. So you're thinking good start, get them on the back foot, and then just calamity at the back from Chris Cadden. Now I know, look, he's been slaughtered, but I actually think he's been okay for us. Certainly over the past couple of games anyway. But I don't know what he's doing. It's almost like he tries to play it off the striker there. I think it's Goma. I think it
Mm.
is. Just don't do that there. Do not
Can I
do that
ask,
there.
can I ask on Chris Cadden, and we'll keep it brief because it's a shorter episode, but it must be a bit of a concern. I know you're sticking up for him, and I know he is getting slaughtered, but take the sort of emotion of just calling him all the swear words.
Yeah,
That for me is, even if he's playing okay, the fact is he was partly culpable for the Hearts goal
yeah,
in the last minute. He's had a bit of a horror show last night. I believe there was one or two before the Hearts game that had been brought up.
yeah,
Is it a cause for concern? Because that's quite a lot.
yeah. No, look, it is a cause for concern. I think that defensively, you know, he's weak when he has to defend. Whereas going forward, he's a
Yeah.
lot better. Although he's not done much of that this season. I think the problem is we just don't have you put Mulligan there, and I actually thought, obviously Cadden picks up a stupid booking following that, and we take him off because of that. Gray said, he was going to get a red card. Their wingers were targeting him.
Quite
Really just had him
rightly
on toast. Really, he just wasn't at it. And he was either going to get sent off or cost us another goal. So I've no issues with Gray doing that. I think the problem is you take Mulligan out the engine room, and it's a big hole because he's just such an important player for us
Yeah.
up and down the pitch. He drives us forward. He's good with the ball. He's a good passer, and he can finish as well. So you take him out of that, and I just think we lose too much from him when that happens. So yeah, the goal. Look, it was a disgrace. Very very poor. I think even after Cadden had given the ball away, I think our defenders could do better. I think Hanley will be a bit disappointed. He kind of sat off as much as that, but look, he takes a shot early. It's a great strike, and he puts it right in the corner. So
Yeah.
it's
He's done what he needs to do.
yeah, yeah, and from a Hibs point of view, it was poor. But the good thing I was saying at the time was I was like, it's early enough in the game that we can get ourselves back into it. And
Yeah.
very often over the years, we scored late against Rangers to get a point, or if we go back to 2016 to actually win the cup.
All
Uh,
right. Oh, I don't remember.
yeah, yeah. So we just didn't though. We just didn't, and it was it kind of really disappointed. It just turned into a kind of non-event then.
Yeah.
We didn't do very much after they scored. We were keeping it quite well, and then moment it got to their final third, they were just defensively organised and just didn't allow us any space. Knew we wanted to get it out wide. Cadden had a few flashes across um, their goal. Again, he had a few misplaced crosses again. Just
Yeah. Yeah. It
just
was a
not
bit.
quite.
I was getting the updates on Sports Sound just because I was working last night, and their general thing was, I mean, Rangers got the goal kind of out of nothing because of the
Yeah.
mistake, but um, the game was a bit nothing really. There
Oh, it
was
was. It was a
it was
it was
just
a
in between the
terrible
two boxes.
it was a terrible game, and again they just had that one strike really, and it gets half time and you're thinking, right, obviously we're still in it at 1-0. If we can get our act together, it all night I was just saying the game is there. Like the Rangers aren't firing on all cylinders. It wasn't even an Ibrox job when we went there, and we were just never in it. Like it
Yeah,
felt like it was an even game. It's just we couldn't break them down, and giving them that early goal, they were just so defensively organized that they just cut off all our attacks.
yeah,
It doesn't help when we're taking poor touches. I don't know how. I was speaking to my dad, and he was at the match, and he was saying just how many times we gave the ball away, just unnecessarily.
yeah,
And if you do that, you're going to find it hard to build attacks. I think we were going way too back to front too quickly, whereas if we just composed a bit on the ball and just built our attacks and kind of got them a bit side to side, worked our way into those attacking areas rather than just like shelling it, we would have had more success. But it was very frustrating. Second half was it was a non-event up until really the penalty.
yeah. I mean, this is the
Clegy
question I've been waiting to ask.
Clegy had a very good chance. Chira knocked it over. Probably hit it a bit too hard, but anyways, absolutely melted it into the box. But still, from that distance, you're expecting to score. I don't know if he would have been offside anyway, but
Mm.
you need to put that in the back of the net. And Campbell
And
had a
then,
chance.
yeah, and I was going to say, Cleaver just puts it in the net and then finds out if it's offside
Yeah, yeah,
later.
exactly. Then
Give
then
yourself
that's
a
fine.
chance.
And Campbell as well. I think his blushes were saved because I think
Yeah,
he may have been onside. I've not seen it. I didn't watch
they,
the replays, but I think it was reasonably tight.
they were saying on the radio it was offside, but then when they saw the replay, they thought,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, it
But
was going to
I
be
think
tight anyway.
I think it probably was offside.
I
But it
was
was a
just like
sitter.
jumping up and down, kind of going nuts. So I didn't really even watch the replay. I was like puffing and puffing. So
But
um,
let's one thing I want to ask about Rob obviously is the penalty. That was stating the obvious. That was the key back into the game.
absolutely. And I think if we score that, we could have gone on to win it
Yeah,
because
maybe.
it would have just changed the whole momentum. But I had a feeling, and I thought McGrath was terrible. I just didn't think he offered anything in the game at all. And I just thought to myself, give it to Boyle, the penalty. But anyway, McGrath stepped up, and it was just inexcusable penalty, really. I don't mind if you put it in one of the corners or, even smash it down the middle, the keeper guesses right, okay, you can hold your hands up then. But it was such a comfortable height. It was so obvious where he was going with his body language. It was identical to the penalty a year ago that the same keeper saved, and you just think either put someone else on it
Yeah,
or try and do something different. But
yeah.
he literally did the same thing that
I, I
allowed Butland to save it.
I was hearing Butland, to be fair to him, has saved something like 7 out of his last 8 penalties,
Yeah,
which is,
yeah. So
I mean, for a keeper, that is unbelievable. I think that's a good striker's rate for scoring.
yeah,
That is incredible. What obviously I count the Hearts one in that, which the rebound goes in, but in terms of just out and out penalty saves, that's
no, it's very
unbelievable.
good.
But that doesn't change it. It's still a one-on-one penalty. Forget all the other ones.
You need to
McGrath just
score.
needs to tuck it away.
Tuck it away, and even if we got a point, you just say, right, okay, fair enough result. I don't think we deserve to lose the game. No way. But a draw probably would have been a fair result, and I think, Rangers would have couldn't have complained much if that had happened as well.
Yeah,
We didn't do enough, and the penalty just summed it up. Just poor, weak in the attacking third. I didn't think he was going to score, and he didn't.
yeah,
And I just thought that just sums up the night. Really, it's just one of those nights where the attackers are having an off days, uh, and we didn't pass it as well as we could. Defended okay, apart from the Cadden horror show. But a draw would have been fair. But look, we didn't get it, and I don't know. A lot of people are kind of criticizing Gray. I think it's more on the players last night. I don't think the players
yeah.
did enough. The players are responsible for their first touches, for their choice of pass. That's not down on Gray. And yesterday it was horrendous.
I mean, you've had a couple of good games with that lineup recently,
Yep.
um, so it's hard to criticize Gray too much at that. So yeah, no, I think that's fair enough. And I mean, ultimately, Rangers are doing what they've done sort of over the years, and that is getting a win even when they don't
Yeah.
necessarily deserve it. And that is the difference. We were just saying before we started recording how busy and stressful the weeks have been for both of us at
Yeah.
work. Have Hibs helped your week at all there, Robert?
Well,
So,
I was hoping that they would get me through the rest of the week, but again, it's very like the Derby result. Really, I just kind of
uh,
switched it off, and I was like, I don't actually want to hear anything about it. Just
yeah,
get get get
yeah,
get
you're
some
looking,
Netflix program on now
yeah,
because I
you're
can't go to bed with those images in my head.
you're looking forward to going back to work just to get away
Yeah,
from it.
exactly. So look, it is what it is. It was a poor performance. It was again, you don't get what you deserve in football. You have to earn it, and
You've
we
actually
didn't do enough.
You've actually, sorry to jump in. I was actually just thinking, in some ways, it's worse because see if you play badly and lose, and like the other team are miles better, you're
Yeah,
like, oh well, fine, whatever. But you've played quite poorly, which is frustrating, but not enough. The other team didn't play well enough to deserve to win. So you've
no,
got the combination of both not getting what you deserve or getting less than what you could have got, and not really playing that well anyway.
yeah,
So you've got it's almost worse in some ways. The other team didn't just steamroll you. Sometimes you can just take that on the chin.
yeah, exactly. And Rangers fans were apparently acting like they'd won the league last night. So,
Yeah.
no, very very disappointing. But
Well,
Hearts are
fair enough. I
very
mean, you know what? It's only your second defeat of the season as well, so all things considered. But yeah, do you know what? Funnily enough, I've got probably similar emotions to yourself in terms of just that element of frustration to the night. Um, Away to St Mirren 2-2. And I think in the grand scheme of things, teams that are wanting a good season, and you can talk about whether Hearts' ambition should be winning the league or just getting second place maybe or whatever. I think a point away to St Mirren is not going to kill your season. There's much worse results you can get in a season. So if you'd offered me 4 points from Celtic at home and St Mirren away, I probably would have taken it. In fact, any other season in the world, I would have taken it. We had a couple of chances early on. Shankland had a wee header at the near post, but the big one was Beningame hitting the inside of the post, and it's flashed across the goal and gone out for a goal kick. I mean, it was a lovely effort, but you're just thinking if you get that early 1-0 lead, the way Hearts have been playing, it's so early that I know obviously the game that then unfolds is pretty crazy. Um, but that goals change games,
yeah,
and
of course.
who knows what happens there. So frustrating for that one. St Mirren then, to be fair, came into it and we're very much on top for a bit. The difference is they got their goal, um, and fair enough. It was, I don't know if you've seen it, the overhead kick. Um,
Yes.
the defender's facing him away from goal, which is, I guess, what you're meant to do. Could maybe be a little bit tighter to stop him doing that, but I don't think they're doing a great deal wrong, and it's just a really nice, clever bit of play. Schwolow, to be fair, isn't expecting it. I guess you could say the keeper should always be on their toes, but I think it's harsh to criticise the defence too much for that. It was it was a good goal, to be fair to the
Yeah,
guy. We then get the equaliser, and I suppose from their point of view, they'll be frustrated. Admittedly, we get the ball into the box. It's a poor clearance, and I mean, I think it's their midfielder who's dropped in to help. Takes a shocking first touch in the box. I mean, you either shell it or you bring it in close, but he's
yeah,
done it. He's done somewhere in between. And of all the people for it to fall to, Lawrence Shankland from I don't know 8 yards out, uh, pretty easy stuff for him. So that's 1-1.
yeah,
It then goes to 2-1 again, a bit of a stramash in the box. I'd probably be wanting us to clear that a bit better or get rid of it or get bodies around the box, around the ball. But it's one of these things, I've always said this, I think people underestimate sometimes just where the ball falls. I know you can anticipate second balls and there's a skill and a tactic to doing that. But sometimes the ball just happens to land at somebody's feet. And so there
yeah.
is an element of that and he lashes it into the goal. Um, so fair enough. I'd be delighted if Hearts did it. No complaints about it from that side of things. So that's 2-1 at that point. This is where I guess it now starts to get a bit controversial. St Mirren, I'm hearing in the radio going 3-1 up, and then hearing there's a VAR check, and I'm going, oh brilliant, please, 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 please. And sure enough, we get the decision going in our favour. Now my understanding is it was for offside. Well, in fact, it was for offside. And the thing that the ref had to check was, is the guy interfering with play? Um, I'm honestly not sure. The one thing I will say that we got lucky with is whether you think by the letter of the law it's the right decision or not, it's not always given that decision. So absolutely, we've had a bit of luck there. But I mean, my understanding is if you're in an offside position, you block someone from running, which I think is what the call was made for. I might be wrong, so anyone in the comments can let me know. But someone's gone in an offside position, blocked a couple of defenders, I think a couple of them actually, from getting in to defend. So that for me is interfering with play.
No, they were saying that he blocked Shankland from getting in front of the ball. That's what it was given for. It was for that
So
incident. So it
it
was
was it. So it
purple.
wasn't from the initial free kick.
No, it
No,
was from the I don't know who it was.
right.
O'Hara apparently blocked Shanklin to get the ball, but like it was such minimal contact.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Like
I've maybe looking at the wrong bit. There was one bit when I looked at the replay on one bit, it showed it from the free kick, and it showed them blocking a couple of defenders. And I thought, well, that's probably actually fair enough. I don't know what all the fuss is about.
no, it was
Um,
that one. Have a look at it again. But I
I'll need
think
to go back to that.
Dan Budge and Tony Bloom were in the VAR room for that one because
Well,
you've got away with one.
well, no, fair enough. Fair enough. I'll take that on the chin then. But that is ultimately what I was going to say. Actually, whether by the letter of the law it's right or not, um, it's definitely sort of the one that could get not given, even if it should be given. So I think regardless, we've been lucky there, and I'm quick enough to moan about decisions against us. So
Yeah,
sometimes you just need to hold your hands up and say we got a bit lucky there.
yeah,
And 3-1's obviously a totally different game,
yeah,
for many reasons, but also because well, Sholov actually makes a really good save after it, but we're then a couple of minutes later back to 2-2.
yeah,
And it's a good goal. To be fair, we hit the woodwork again because Aridas hits the bar, but Braga, really good jump, really good leap. And actually, there's no pace on the ball because it's looped in the air, so he's really had to, give it the old neck muscles
yeah,
and get it into the net. So I actually think he does really well, albeit it's a header from 6 yards out or whatever.
yeah,
So that's 2-2, and great crowd celebrations and all that. And then this is the bit, as much as I know we've been lucky, so I can't complain too much, but this is the bit when you think you've got the last minute winner. And
mm,
Kabori, again, keeping it alive in the box, has a shot blocked on the line and then smashes it into the net. And you just think, brilliant, Kabori's not had much game time this season. He's just got a last minute winner away at a really difficult ground, absolutely buzzing. Um, and whilst it's kind of close, it is quite clearly offside. So I have no complaints about that because Aridas, he is trying to get back on. So I'm not even complaining about him being offside. I don't think it's his fault. He's trying to get back on, but the play's moving quickly. Um, so yeah, it's just one of these ones where when you get that taste of what the victory. It would
yeah.
just be better if if we just never scored it,
Yeah,
we'd be
yeah,
walking away going 2-2 fine, whatever. Bit
yeah,
lucky with that decision earlier. Um, so yeah, it just flattens things a little bit. That said, I know, a lot of people were talking about Celtic have cut the gap back to 6 points. However, for me, them being at home to Falkirk and us being away to St Mirren, we've had the much tougher fixture there, and we quite easily could have walked away with 0 points yesterday,
mm,
given that offside decision that very much
mm,
went in our favour, the VAR call for that one. Um, so in some ways, because of the last minute goal getting chopped off, it's similar to the Motherwell game. I feel like we've dropped 2 points. In other ones, I feel like we've gained a point. So
yeah.
it's hard to say, but again, that could be a big vital point come the end of the season.
It could be, or it could be, the start of Celtic and Martin O'Neill's mind
I
game.
know.
I love it. I used to love, Alex Ferguson, and although, as you know, I prefer Newcastle
Yeah,
to Man United, but I used to love the way he was a master in how he worked the media and how he used to get under like other managers' skins and apply the pressure to them. And I think Martin O'Neill's from that school as well. Like he
yeah.
knew he was going to Celtic when he gave that Talksport interview. No one's going to tell me differently. And he's saying,
Really?
Hearts are setting the standard. That's a bar to reach. Hearts should probably win the league from here. It's all mind games. I love it.
So you think O'Neill knew about the
I
Celtic
think he
job at
knew.
that point?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely,
I was
definitely.
going to say because it was quite a quick appointment.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
my suspicions.
I'm pretty sure he knew, and he was just kind of laying the foundations to do that. But
Um,
look, it's going to be interesting. I think that obviously from a Hearts perspective, it's disappointing to drop points. We backed Hearts to beat St Mirren. The way the game played out, I think you're right. I think it's Hearts should be pleased with the point because it could quite easily have gone the other way. Again, I think it's a shocking VAR call that was made. Um,
eh,
but you take them when they go for you, and you're raging if they go against. These bits of luck are going Hearts' way right now. Hibs had the same thing last year on our run. We had a few things that just went our way. The Dundee United goal
I
and
was just
things like
thinking that.
that. There were
Yeah.
there was a lot that went your way. So you take it because you know there's going to be calls against you as well. And as I said, these things do usually even out across the
Yes.
season, unless you're Celtic or Rangers, but
What I
they
was going to say.
do even out for the rest of us.
No, I was going to say, and yeah, exactly. We had I said that a lot last season. I felt like we weren't getting those little calls, and
Yeah,
you're right. I don't know why they both seem to happen at the same time. Good form and lucky decisions. I don't think one causes the other, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
But
comes out
just
that helps.
seems to happen. So, look, Hibs are away to Livingston on
Livingston.
Saturday. I want the same as the last two times I've played them. I want to see us move them about, create chances, score goals. No excuses. We need to bounce back from yesterday. I'd probably drop Bowie. I don't think he's on form at all. I think I'd probably bring Boyle back in, and start
Oil
with
and
Boyle,
Beecher.
Boyle and
Oil-
Cleachy up front. Yeah, they really struggled with pace, Livy at the back, so
Yeah.
that's the kind of route I'd go, and we can bring Bowie on, Johan, these guys if need be. But I wouldn't make wholesale changes. It was just an off night yesterday. We played quite well before that, those two games. So
Yeah, definitely. And
I,
I mean, like Rangers are, for as much as they've been awful this season, they're always going to be one of the better teams in the league because of their
absolutely, they've
budget.
still got
So,
good players. I mean,
you were up against
that's
a good team.
walks into nearly every midfield in
Exactly.
the country. So like they've good players, but we they had an off night as well. We didn't capitalize, and I think that's where a lot of the disappointment from Hibs fans is
Yeah.
coming from. But
Before I ask you for a prediction, you've just reminded me about Bowie there. One thing I've been dying to bring up with you. Uh, I didn't see it, but I've heard on the radio he was having some quite awful play acting last night. Did you see it as a Hibs fan? And if you did, was it bad? And what's your thoughts?
nah, it wasn't bad at all. It was GBH. Look, he made the most of a few incidents as some players do. I think a bit of it is as well that he's off form and he's just trying to, I guess,
Yeah,
make
yeah,
sure the keeper sees when he's fouled, and there's been a lot of fouls on him that haven't been given throughout the season as well. So I don't like theatrics. I don't like that. I don't like to see that as a player. But all the ones that
Sure.
he was doing, they were fouls. He just made a meal of it.
So you don't like theatrics, so we can put on record McLeod calls out Bowie antics.
I welcome it, Stuart. He's on my team.
No, fair. It's only because I mentioned it a few weeks ago and then I heard it getting talked about on the radio
Yeah,
and I thought, and when you have an opinion and then it gets kind of vindicated by other
yeah,
people. I I was also curious. I know what it's like when I see a Hearts player do it and I'm always like, oh,
yeah.
please,
No, I don't like it. I don't
please,
like it at
please
all.
don't do it.
I don't like it.
Um, so very quickly, and coming back to the Livingston game, predictions.
2-0 Hibs.
I think you've really schooled Livingston a couple of times recently. You beat them comfortably when you weren't actually in great form.
Yeah.
Smashed them recently when once your form has picked up a little bit. I'm going to say 3-0.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle of your two scores there. I just think Livingston are they actually played quite well against us, but since then they've really been off it.
Let's hope you're right.
Yeah.
And Hearts standard 3-0 home, Braga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
home to Dundee. Yeah, yeah, I'd like to see. I mean, I always like strikers scoring. I don't want to be too cocky and start picking who you get to score. But yeah, if we could get, I mean, I'll take a 1-0 with I don't know, Tony Bloom's scoring a tap in.
That's
But
it.
aye, look, yeah, if we could get a 2 or 3-0 victory with Shanklin and Braga getting in amongst the goals and keep them scoring goals,
Yeah.
then that'd be brilliant. And yeah, my prediction probably is a 2 or 3-0 home victory as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably go for 3-0 Hearts. So we will do a pod again on Tuesday. Monday,
We'll
sorry.
Yeah, sooner than that,
Mon
and then
Sunday or Monday of probably Monday of next week.
yeah,
And
we'll get
we
things reviewed and then look ahead to the games coming up.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
but
bad
oh,
luck to Hearts, Stuart, and I
yeah,
hope that Hibs return to form.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely, you need it. Well, listen, Rob, I'll catch you next week. But for now, everyone, keep liking, subscribing, and commenting, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.